it is actually terrifying because these are like also my favorite books of the year. So imagine if something happens to them. They are literally my children. Hi guys, welcome back to a new video of mine. My name is Emily, and in today's video I will be talking about my favorite books of the year, and I'm so excited. Oh my goodness, I love this question. No, I love filming this video because I did that last year as well because I saw Destiny's World and I just loved the idea of that, and so I'm doing it. Oh, I did it and now I'm doing it again because I loved it, and yeah, I'm so excited. Oh my goodness, look at my bookshelf. Let me know your favorite book of 2023, or a few ones actually. I love getting new recommendations, what I should be reading in 2024. Yeah, I just got back from uni, so I'm back home. I just squeezed in all my new books and all the books I took out for uni, and now it's like filled to the brinks. Like these cubbies, they are at the brinks of it, like they are dead end, and I do want to get a new bookshelf, but we'll see. It would be so exciting to like film this video next year again and then have a different bookshelf. So for Emily next year watching this is what it looks like right now ish, because I took some books out that I read last year because they don't matter, so shh. Anyways, and also this bookshelf right here that you can't really see, but I'm gonna talk about that soon. Anyways, what we're gonna do is today is gonna pick out my 23 favorite books of 2023, which is so exciting. And yeah, I have no idea what I'm gonna pick because I did not think about it before really. It's just gonna be free fall, just picking them out as we go, which I feel like could be very, very fun. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. I'm so excited. Also, I have this little thingy where I also put in books because I just didn't have any space left. So yeah, let's talk some stats before we begin. I read in total around 250 books this year, so I doubled it from last year, and this year has really just been a reading year. I graduated high school last year, so this year I took a gap year. I traveled a bunch, but I also just read, and it was very fun, and I did not have a social life, so next year when I read less, which is actually crazy to say. But anyways, that's on that. It's gonna be very hard to pick like the top 10% of the books I read, so we'll see how that goes, but let's just get into it. Oh my god. Also, I'm just already thinking about filming the video where I talk about every single book I read this year, and I'm scared. I'm very, very, very scared. Okay, I just built something so you can see the books that I'm putting out, like building my staff. But yeah, let's start. Oh my god, I'm so excited. The best book. We're gonna start with the top like 5, and then it's just gonna get a little bit random because I don't know. Okay, the best book I've read this year was definitely Baritone by Fredrik Backman. I fell in love with Fredrik Backman this year. I am obsessed with his writing and his books, and I annotated the crap out of this, and I absolutely love it. I still need to read Winners, the 3rd book, but I'm scared. I'm literally scared. Like, I will not be reading this book in the foreseeable future because I am terrified. Actually, it's on my January TBR, so that's a lie, but yeah, I love this. And I read it in April and I still think about it so many times a week. Like, so many times. And I love this book. Please read it. It's about hockey in a very small Swedish town where something really, really bad happens. Then, number 2, we have A Little Life. Yes, obviously, I read this book this year and it traumatized me, but in a good and bad way. Like, I would definitely reread it, and I just think about these characters so many times and just trauma that they went through and the pain. but in such a beautiful way, kind of. I don't really know how to express it, but I mean, it was so thrilling that I tapped it and then I had to stop because I just binged it, and I don't know if that is like the correct term for reading this book, but I needed to keep reading. And it is very sad and it doesn't make you feel good, but I don't know, I love the friendship in this one and all the happy moments. Even if they were rare, I love them. So next we have a book that I very recently read, and that is The Christmas Orphan Club. And I read that like literally a week ago, and I was like, I read the first 10 pages and I was like, yes, this is gonna be one of my favorite books of the year. Like instant 5 to 6 star book, and it is a Christmas book, 300 pages long, and it took over my life. Like I think about them so many times. Finn, I have no words for Finn because he is just like the incredible, that's all I'm gonna say. And yeah, this is about 4 friends living in New York City. This felt a little bit like A Little Life, but in happy and less dramatic. But basically they all don't have a place to go in during Christmas because one of them, the parents died, one of the characters, the parents don't accept them, so you know, it is very sad, but in a very light-hearted way. It is still a very fun book. You know, you could cry, but you don't have to cry, versus A Little Life. I don't know if I'm explaining this correctly, but basically it's about 11 years of their life, and you see 11 Christmases and what's gonna happen, and yeah, it's just so interesting. Please go read this book. Now, I don't know. 6 Crow Snacks, because that was my favorite fantasy book of the year for sure. I loved it so much. It is so fun. It's about 6 thieves living in Catalan, and they're planning a heist into one of the biggest prisons in their world. And it is just so fun, and I love the romance in this one and the characters, the found family. I'm so happy I read this year, and I love Leigh Bardugo's writing, so I love it. Okay, let's get into some romances, because that's, I feel like, what's kind of missing. We have a lot of lit fic, which is very fun. That I loved so much lit fic this year. Didn't think that would happen in the beginning of the year. I love Ellie Hazelwood and Love Theoretically. I loved it so much, and I love this book. It's definitely my favorite romance book of hers yet. I think of like the 3 STEM books that she has put out now, and this is just, it felt very relatable in a way how Elsie is the biggest people pleaser in the world, and that is literally me, so that felt just very relatable and very hard-hitting. And I love Jack, and yeah, I love them. And then while we're on the Ellie Hazelwood train, but yeah, that is Checkmate by Ellie Hazelwood. Oh my goodness, didn't think much of it because I don't know anything about chess. I don't know how to play it. I don't know anything, and yeah, I was very skeptical to begin with, and then I started reading it and I was like, oh my goodness, this is so good. Suddenly I care so much about chess and everything that's happening in chess, and the romance was so much fun, but also I loved starting my phone. Anyways, I loved reading this book, and suddenly I cared so much about chess and everything that was happening in chess, and about the side plot, especially between Mallory and her family. And I think the chess play was so fun, so I just really liked it. Then I read the Renegade series this year, and it was so much fun. I love Marvel, so that was why I read it, because it is about superheroes who are called renegades, and then the villains who have also superpowers, and they are called the anarchists. And it's about Nova, who's an anarchist, and then Adrian, who's a renegade, and they team up because she's a spy suddenly in the renegades to put down the renegades because something bad happen in her past, and it's just so fun because they both have these huge secrets and that they're keeping, and you're like, on which side am I on? And then they also have these super fun superpowers, and it was just a very, very fun series. And the ending of the third one, so good, but I'm just putting in the first one because I feel like that makes the most sense. Let's talk some thrillers, because I read a lot of thrillers and a lot of them were like 3 stars, but I had some good ones in here. I think my favorite was definitely Then She Was Gone. It is super dark, so be aware of that, but I love Lisa Jones' writing. I read almost all of her books because I love them so much, and they're just so good. There are so many multiple POVs, which I found very interesting, and the plot was totally got me, and I just couldn't stop reading. And yeah, I read this on my Kindle, and then I bought the physical copy because I couldn't stop thinking about it. And yeah, so good. Please go read this thriller. And then another one of my favorites was Brownie Sages in a book, The Only One Left, which was just very much like interesting book because it's about Lenora Hope, who in the 1910s, I think, killed her family. Like, everybody thinks she killed her family. It seems very likely that she killed her family, but now it's like years, decades later, and she is bound to a wheelchair, bound to a bed, can't move, can't talk, can't do anything. And so there comes Kit McVeer, and she's the nurse caretaker of the old woman who is Lenore. But then suddenly things start happening, and she's like uncovering what really happened in the 1929 actually. Okay, but yeah, I just really like the thriller. Keep me guessing, kept me on my toes. So yeah, really good. And then we have City of Bones. I started finally I tipped my toes into the Shadow Hunters universe by Cassandra Clare. And I read the first 3 books. I still need to continue. I know it's so bad that I just stopped. And I really want to continue because this is like a modern day fantasy taking place in New York City about shadow hunters. And yeah, Clary gets introduced to them. Like, everybody already knows them. Like, it's not a new fantasy book, but yeah, it's so good. So I loved reading this book, and the whole found family friendship group was so fun. And yeah, I'm excited to keep reading this fantasy series that is like literally this big. And now we already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 books. So we have my top 10 books of 2023. Next we have is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Savine. This is a book about friendship and computer games, and takes place over decades of friendship, and it's so interesting and so fun, and I really liked it. And in a moment, I don't think I was like obsessed with the book, but I just kept thinking about it, and like these characters stayed with me so much throughout the year, and I really admire that. And the cover is gorgeous, so that's great. And yeah, it's just really good, and the writing is beautiful, and the cover is beautiful, and the storyline is beautiful, and the characters are beautiful, and so like real. And I cried. It was so sad at moments, so it was just really good. And we have Fourth Wing. I would have pulled that probably up earlier, but I also read Iron Flame and didn't like that at all. So that kind of tainted my perception of Fourth Wing. But as a standalone book, I love this book. It is so fun. It's about dragons and riders, and you probably know all about it, but it was so really good. It pulled me out of a reading slump versus that one that put me right into one. But yeah, really good and so fun. So fun. Let's talk. These are not in order, but let's talk the Ballad of Never After. Oh, I always want to say The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes because I already also love that book. But anyways, The Ballad of an Ever After. Yes. Anyways, I love this book and I love the series. It's so fairy tale-esque with Jax. I love Jax so much. He's so good. It's literally so good, and he was definitely my favorite of the whole series. Eventually it was cool too, and it's basically about her making bad decisions because of a broken heart and just kept on going. But it's so funny. You've probably heard all about it, but if you haven't read it, take this as your sign to read it now, please. And look at these stunning covers. So obviously what else to, oh yes, because they're all down here. I forgot about them, but I read the Natural series and I loved it and it was so fun. It's basically Criminal Minds in YA by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, so that means short chapters, a love triangle, and all the fun in a fun family, and that was all in here, and very good. And yeah, I loved it, honestly. It was so fun, very quick to read, very easy to read, very YA, but very fun and very funny because, you know, these group of friends, they catch criminals and serial killers together with the FBI because they have natural abilities because of the way they grew up. So it's very interesting, and my favorite was definitely All In because it took place in Las Vegas. The next one I read in January, and I don't know if that counts because I knew I was gonna love it and it was kind of a reread, but also haven't read in a while. So that is Harry Potter, and I took the third one because it's my favorite. Also, I got like a special edition recently, so that's very fun. So yeah, it like builds like the Hogwarts on the spine, so that's very fun. Still need to collect a few and find a place on my bookshelf because I haven't yet, so that's upsetting. But yeah, I love Harry Potter. That's honestly all I can say about that. Especially series, that's why this one is my favorite. Oh yes, I found another romance, and that is Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. Oh my god, I love this book so much. It was so good, so entertaining, so fun, and can only recommend. And yeah, I mean, the main character had social anxiety, so that was very spot on for me and very relatable, and that was, I think, my favorite part. But I love Abby Jimenez's writing. It is always a little bit sadder, but still very lighthearted, and there are some fun lines in it, and yeah, I just love this book so much. Another romance we have is Happy Place. Listen, this maybe could have been higher up, but also like not top because I liked it a lot. Like I gave it 4.5 stars, but like wasn't like my favorite Emily Henry book, and I feel like some people are really like dying for this book, and I'm like, I liked it, it was good, but it just wasn't my favorite of her. But yeah, this was a really good romance, and I love the friendship group and the struggles like between friendships and growing up, and I think especially in a few years I will really gonna love this book, but maybe not right now. But it was super fun and very sad at some points, and I love the second chance romance, so yeah, I'm so excited for Funny Story. He is wearing Crocs on the cover. Do I need to say more? Next book is Maybe Meant to Be. Listen, this was such a fun YA romance story, and I really liked it. It was taking place on like this takes place at a boarding school in New England, and it is so fun because it's about Charlie and Sage, and they are best friends, and they are always like, everybody says they are meant to be, like they should be a couple, they are best friends and they should be together. But then Sage likes actually Charlie's twin brother, and Charlie starts liking Luke, and yeah, it kind of unravels from there, and it's so fun. Such a good romance story, but also about friendship and YA, and very relatable, so nothing to complain about here. Another romance that I absolutely ate up this year was Anatomy, a Love Story by Dana Schwartz. I was so surprised when I read that because I did not expect to love it as much as I did. But I did. I really did. I am obsessed with this book. Like literally, I want to reread it next year because I loved it so much. It is taking place in 1817. I just read that there. Thank you. In Scotland, in Edinburgh, which is so fun. And it's about Hazel, who wants to be a surgeon, but obviously life in the 1800s sucked for women, so she couldn't be a surgeon, so she tried to do it herself with the help of Jack, who brought her corpses so she could train to operate on it. I don't know if that makes sense, but the love story is so good, the side plot of mystery is so good, the cliffhanger is really good. Then I read the second one, which was also really good. So all in all, a great romance book and a little bit different. If you're like, I want to read a romance but I can't read another contemporary romance book, read this one. It's a little bit different. Okay, we have 4 more options. Oh yes, I know. I read The Vanishing Half in January, like really in the beginning of the year, and became obsessed with it. And I can't believe I just almost forgot about it, but it is so good. And I loved Reese, who is a side character. I cried so much reading this book. It's not even funny. I was just like, the tears, they were just streaming. Honestly, it's really sad, but really good. And I really liked it. And yeah, it's about 2 sisters in sometime historical, and one chooses to grow up like marrying a black guy who has then a black kid, and one marries a white guy, grows up in a very white community, blends as white, or she passes for white, and she has a very white daughter who doesn't even know that she's like partly black. And it was very interesting to see those 2 daughters' life be so different, and when they cross paths it was very interesting. So yeah, really good book. Then we have Matthew Perry's memoir, which I listened to after he died, which, why is it so hard to say? Like, why do I get tears in my eyes just talking about a celebrity who died? Like, it's, come on, get a grip. But it's just very upsetting that he died, who is my favorite fictional TV show character. I don't know, Chandler, I mean. So him, like, Matthew Perry dying, and especially all the things he went through, which you read in this memoir, which is really good and very funny, and very like Matthew Perry, Chandler, like, I mean, they are very similar, Chandler and Matthew, which you can read in this book. So that was very sad to read about how, you know, all the things he went through, and then he died at like 50-ish. Very sad, but a really good memoir, and definitely my favorite of the year. I would definitely recommend listening to it because he like talks, so you can listen to his voice again. But there are pictures in the memoir, so yeah. Next we have Shadow and Bone, because I love this word, and I love Ben Barnes. And I love the TV show, and I love everything that trilogy brought me, and I actually really liked the whole Shadow and Bone universe trilogy. And I mean, it's not my favorite, but especially the first one was really good. And yeah, I just really liked this book. It's very shiny, and it's about Alina, who suddenly develops like a power so she can do something with light. So they're trying to use that against a dark wall, but then there's this evil person, a duckling, and it's just crazy stuff happening, and I love it. So yes, and I really want to reread it and then rewatch the TV show. Okay, what else do we have here? Ooh, we have 7 Years Slip. I always forget that I read that because it's like so far in the corner. And yeah, I loved this romance story because it took place in New York City, which is one of my favorite like places a story could take place. And it was really good, and it had this like magical element that was so good. So I loved it, because basically Clementine moves into her great aunt's apartment, but the apartment is a little bit magical because you can slip 7 years in the past, and 7 years in the past somebody else was living there. So she meets that guy, and it's kind of fun, like how can they be together if he lives 7 years in the past, you know? Yeah, really good. And now let's count. Oh, okay. Well, and that was that. I thought I had like one more book to talk about, but seems like I didn't. So that's fun. But yeah, those were all the books that I read in 2023, or well, my favorites. And I need to watch a few videos in the future where I talk about all the books I've read, which is very daunting because... Oh, anyways, but yeah. These were my books. I love them very much, very dearly in my heart. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope I see you in the next one. Bye guys! How? Why is this pilot book suddenly terrifying? No, I can't. I need to call my family.